Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM.
Brought to you proudly by Sportsman's Warehouse, the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, and Avery Superstore.
Good Saturday morning and welcome to Outdoors without Larry Ray. Larry is on a well-deserved vacation out in Montana.
And we're jealous.
He's enjoying trout streams and cool weather and maybe a little bit of snow on a peak somewhere out there, but far cry from what we're feeling in Memphis, Tennessee right now. But in studio with me, we have Gene Smith.
Good morning.
And in Illinois without us is Dave Gabbard up there shooting trout.
Yeah, in a galaxy far, far away, long time ago and all that stuff.
Wren Lake, home of a great retriever club and a great field trial, and used to be a great place to shoot Canada geese when they actually still flew that far south. But this segment's pretty exciting because it's part of it is based on an old company from the Mid-South here, Strike King, and their partner now, Lew's. They've come up with a scholarship program, and each year they're taking applications from, if you have kids, from hundreds of high school kids vying for scholarships, and they just announced their 5 recipients, and we have David Mays from Lew's and Strike King on the line. And David, thanks for being here. Where are you this morning?
My pleasure. Nice to be on the phone with you, Bill. I'm actually in Lexington, South Carolina.
Great. Tell us about this scholarship program. How's it work? When did y'all come up with it? Just, give us a little bit of info on it.
Sure. Well, this is actually the first year we've kicked it off, and both Strike King and Lew's, even when they were separate companies, have always been very committed to youth fishing and the high school programs. They've always had a good history of both supporting organized high school programs as well as sponsoring and offering product to kids who do fish. But when Lew's and Strike King came together at the end of last year, we decided to create an official scholarship program. Now, Lew's had what was called the Mock High School Grant Program, which offers product to organized high school teams. And essentially that was just a way for high school teams to get high-quality product and to fish with. This is actually more of a combination of a thank you for the work they did during their high school and help set them up for their future fishing ambitions. So the way that it works essentially is that we offer an application process to anyone who's graduating high school and starting their first year of college, whether it's a trade school or a university or a community college or really whatever it is. We're not really too concerned with where they're going as far as what they want to chase in the future. But really what they do is they apply with a resume of, one, what is their fishing resume? How did they spend time fishing during their high school years? What have they done in the community, and what their plans are in the future to fish? So, and really there's no requirement to fish our product. A lot of high school programs and scholarship programs have a requirement around purchases or anything like that. And we really talked about it internally, and we determined that we want to obviously have people use our product because we believe in it. But we really want to have the youth just continue to fish and continue to support high school fishing. So we just want to say thank you for the fact that they've actually been involved in their high school sports and their high school fishing, and continue to have them support the fishing industry because it's obviously the future. So what they do is they just apply with their resume and tell us what they did in their high school fishing careers and then what they're going to do in the future. And we actually work with the Future Fishing Foundation, and we determine of the group that applies, who has the most impressive resumes and pick the top 5.
Gotcha. And I assume grades and other extracurriculars could play into that.
Sure, that's part of the application process. They put their GPA in there, and they do list what their future plans for study are, but that's not going to determine whether or not they get the scholarship.
Right. Just the fact that they've done well in their high school career to that point is what.
Yeah, it's about obviously people that are passionate about the sport, and have a good work ethic and have had a good degree of success in what they've been doing. So it's really about, again, us giving back to what we believe is the future of the industry.
But now I'm looking at your list of kids who received it this year, and they're from all over the map. So does location play any part in your selection, or?
Absolutely no part at all. Now, there is a predominance of high school bass fishing clubs in the Southeast, so you're going to see a lot of applicants in that area. Mm-hmm. But it really doesn't matter where you're from. If you are a high school angler, whether it's male or female, whether you're the north or the south, it really doesn't matter. if you have an impressive resume, you've done well in school, and you want to go to a further education, we're going to support that.
Gotcha. Yeah, but the first name here, Alex Gauld, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, from Amherst, New York. And
wow.
Sitting here in Memphis, that's not a place we necessarily think of, although we've all seen, some big bass tournaments up in New York and
Correct.
in the Northeast,
yeah.
but you don't think about kids growing up fishing, so that's kind of exciting.
It's funny that you don't think about it, but when you really look through the ranks of the elite anglers in the world, there are some great anglers coming out of that area. I think Mike Iaconelli's from that area, up in there somewhere. And then you got some other guys you may have heard of, like Kevin Van Dam, who's from the northern part of the country. So there are some great fishermen that come out of that.
There really are. There really are. And I mean, he's followed by Sarah Moorhead from Kentucky. That's the closest to here, and then there's Parker Wagner from Austin, Texas, which I know that's a huge bass fishing area.
It absolutely is. Texas is a very big bass state.
And Shannon Dodson. Shannon's from Alabama. Now, that's obviously a state we all identify with bass just because that's where bass is.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lee Rose Kosa, and Lee Rose is from Kennesaw, Georgia. So y'all got everywhere but way out west, I suppose, this round. But they've got to get their applications in there and then be on the top of the heap, right?
Absolutely. We missed Florida as well, but we were just happy to have the group of, and it was really an impressive group that applied. So it really was a tough decision. Luckily, we had the help of the Future Fishing Foundation to help us go through it all. But it is our first year, and it was very successful. Like I said, we were really happy with the number of applicants we got, and we were really happy to be able to support them. And I'm really looking forward to 2020, and I assume we're going to have a much bigger, submission of applicants as well. So we're excited about it. Like I said, it was one of the things where we feel passionate about. We are all internally all anglers, and we all believe in the sport, and we believe in the industry. So it's really fun for us to be able to do this.
Dave,
Right.
you ever think you go to college to learn how to fish?
I probably learned less in college because I was fishing.
There you go.
But no. But actually, a lot of the colleges now have certified bass clubs and bass teams as well.
Right,
so
yeah.
this youth, this avid youth movement in the bass angling world is very exciting for us.
Well, you're about to be followed in two segments by a young man who from Bethel who just qualified for the Bassmaster Classic. So, we see a lot of it down here with Bethel and some of these SEC schools who have really pushed forward with their bass clubs and
who's going on after us?
Well, it's not on this sheet. Gene, do you have yours up?
No, no.
With Larry gone, we've gotten so many different emails that we're having to go back and forth to to keep up with the segments.
Bethel College.
But it was a young man from Bethel College, Cody Huff,
yeah.
Bethel University. Okay. He won the Bass College Championship, and so he'll be in the 2020 Classic.
Yeah, I'm aware of Cody. Actually, he's a talented young man.
Yes, absolutely. So we're real proud of these kids from our area, and I know you are from around the country. Well, what else is happening at Lew's and Strike King?
Well, it's an exciting time. Like I said, this is the first year that the Lew's and Strike King have really been able to sort of get together and join forces. They're both, storied brands with a great legacy of passion for the sport. So it's been really, for me, it's been a really fun experience to be able to put them together and really be able to speak to the truly avid anglers of our sport. So it's exciting times for us, that's for sure.
Well, y'all have always been great together. I mean, I went to some of the rider events on Kentucky Lake back in the day, and then the last few ICAST going to the after party and seeing the Lew's and Strike King people there together. And even back before y'all were joined in business, y'all always seemed to share a lot of the same vision.
It's really funny when we came together. One of the things we noticed right away was that the culture of the organization, we have very similar DNA, right down to the people that sweep the floors in our buildings. Every one of us is an avid angler. It's really amazing because
it's in your blood.
Really get what's that?
It's
in our blood.
It's in your blood, right. Yeah.
Yeah. So we really understand the passion of the industry. So when we think about what we're doing, there's no one that sort of views it as just come in and punch the clock, because we know what that excitement is when that fish hits your line and that charge that goes through your arms. We're all very much in touch with it. So having two companies come together and all have very similar DNA, it really is exciting for us. It's a great team and a great organization to be with.
Yeah, Larry wanted a job of naming the lures because he always got a kick out of the different names.
Yeah, there's some pretty creative folks over here, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's the right man for the job, but he always says that's what he wants.
That's right.
I think ever since Sexy Shad came up, he felt like he had missed his calling.
There you go.
There are some much smarter, more creative folks than me doing that, because that's a minefield, that's for sure.
Well, David, thanks so much for being on with us today and sharing with us about this program from Lou's. And how in the future would kids be able to reach out and apply for the scholarship program?
Yeah, it's my pleasure to be here. I appreciate it. And it's real simple. You can go to either one of our websites, either lose.com or strikeking.com. And right on the homepage, there's a scholarship program. Just click on the link and fill it out. And like I said, we're excited for next year to get as many applicants as possible.
That's great. Hopefully we can get them there from 50 states and make y'all really have a hard choice.
Well, there is a lot of talented and impressive young people out there, so it's always a hard choice.
You guys are doing a great job.
Thank you for joining us, David.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Isn't that cool?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the thought of going to college on scholarship, whether to bass fish or, as Dave brought up earlier, they're shooting, and certain schools have these shooting programs. I know my son, he really had to think about it because he ended up at Mississippi State, where they have a shooting team, but it's not a school. It's not a letter sport, and it's not one where you can get a scholarship. And he looked at some other schools where he might have actually been able to shoot on the school team and gotten some scholarship awards and that sort of thing. But he had to make a different choice. But wouldn't that be awesome?
I'm telling you.
That's what surprised me. I've been to the collegiate, like Clay Target championships, and how many the first year that I ever went to it surprised me on how many Ivy League schools had shooting teams, Clay Target teams. Harvard, Yale, all the Ivy League schools that you wouldn't think would even be firearm related,
right?
That they would even know what they were.
Yeah, they probably keep it quiet, and I bet we won't be able to get one to talk about it on the radio. But if we do, we'll reach out and try to have them on a segment here before long. We're going to get out and take a break, and we'll be back in a few minutes to talk about shooting a bow.
All right.